It's not the laws that have been found wanting in combating anti-Semitic speech that we've seen in Australia, particularly from Muslim pulpits. It is the willpower of the police and the prosecutors to actually enforce the laws that we already have on the books. But the real scary thing is that in response to this anti-Semitism, our government has passed new hate speech laws which have dismantled many of the protections that we have for ordinary, reasonable speech. They say never waste a good crisis. And what's happened in the recent session of Parliament is the rushing through of some hate speech laws, which were supported by both parties, which go far beyond addressing anti-Semitism, and which are going to be a real problem for people who are trying to speak up against some of the pervasive ideologies of our times. So we all saw the burning of synagogues, the spray painting of the homes of prominent Jewish citizens, the insults that were hurled at Jews. But did you see any pride centres being hit with bombs or being fired? Did you see any LGBT centres that were the subject of spray paint? I didn't. And yet these new laws have crowbarred into them the identitarian obsessions of our modern politics by not only protecting race and religion, but also saying you cannot speak ill of people of sexual orientation and gender identities that are protected. And so by doing that and by dismantling the protections that we had in our hate speech laws, I'm confident we're going to see what we've been seeing in Europe under their hate speech laws, which is that the police are now able to come to your door and say, we need to talk to you about your thoughts. We need to talk to you about what you've been posting on the internet. This could land you up to 7 years in prison. And these are not laws that are going to uphold the ability of Australians to speak and live the truth.
That in itself is truly chilling. But if I understand you correctly, you're saying that we had laws that could have been used but were not. Prosecutors and police somehow or other unwilling, reluctant to act?
Correct. We have asymmetrical application of these laws all the time. Quite prominent in our news just recently was 2 nurses at a Sydney hospital who were on a social media app boasting about the fact that they kill Jewish patients. This made the news everywhere around the world.
Everywhere around the world. Everyone's heard it.
Now,
well done.
2, 3, 4 days later, the Chief of Police in New South Wales, when asked, are you going to arrest these 2 nurses? Are you going to enforce these hate speech laws? Said, we are still waiting to collate information on this case. No action is being taken. They're being very cautious. Contrast that with identitarian politics. There was an AFL football game in Australia where one of the Indigenous players claimed that his 12-year-old had called him a monkey or had made a racial slur from the audience, from the crowd. The police had that person arrested and taken in for questioning within 2 hours of that report being made. And yet, contrast that with the most vile expressions of actual violence towards Jews. You see the asymmetrical application of these laws depending on the ideological popularity of the cause. It's very concerning because these laws are never applied in the way that those who pass them would suggest they should be or intended them to be.